So in true Houdini fashion, I'm gonna start this with a magic trick, and I'm gonna make the curtain drop. Told you. This is Story of My Song by American Express. This has been taken from my notebook that I've written all my songs for my album Radical Optimism on. This song is about the act of disappearing when something no longer serves you. I think when I was writing this song, I was just a little bit fed up. And I was like, right, I'm done. I felt like with my last album, I'd envisioned that that whole album was gonna be heard out. And then the pandemic happened and we got stuck at home. All I wanted to do was get back into the club and make a record that was solely for dancing. All right, so let's get into the first part, the chorus. Here, I guess instead of saying, tell me all the ways you need me, it's show me all the ways you need me. Tell me all the ways you need me. I guess clearly here I was having a little bit of a battle. Which one should be the lyric? For me, with Houdini, because we were just having fun when we started and it was at the end of the session, we just kind of threw down whatever felt right in the moment. It actually ended up going through a lot of changes, but the chorus in itself, that stayed from the very beginning. And the first lyric was, catch me where I go, Houdini. The whole story was built on the basis of that. I think repetition in a dance track makes it very easily digestible for people who are listening. It makes it fun. It's just about getting the groove and letting loose. For me, at least, that is what I want when I'm dancing. Like, I want to have something that I can sing along to, something that I can sing with my friends. I think it's really about sharing a moment with other people. Catch me or I go Houdini. People have said a lot about the way that I pronounce Houdini. There is a kind of like sound that comes with it. Houdini. I don't know if it's an accent thing. I can't really hear it. But now when I just heard it out loud and I was thinking of whether I should mention it, I was like, oh, I guess I can hear it. When talking about manifestation or writing things down, I think the songs that I like to perform on stage, I always like to make sure that there's a positive twist. Because if I'm gonna get up on stage and sing that song over and over and over again, it kind of becomes like a mantra. I gotta be careful what I'm saying, because the more you say it, the more it starts to ring true. And so I always try and put something positive in it. So for example, in the post hook, maybe you could cause a girl to change her ways and maybe you could be the one to make me stay. And there's something kind of hopeful in that. There's a real toughness to the song and to aspects of my personality. But then there's also a real vulnerable side and a softness. And I think even though when I sing her ways, it's like really loud and belty and powerful, but it's like a cry for a want or a need. This is a post-chorus, which actually doesn't happen so often in a lot of my songs. It just keeps the party going. It's that second wind. It's like you start getting tired from all the dancing, then the post-chorus comes in and you want to keep on going. When you're trying to tell a story, this isn't enough. You know, you've got to kind of explain it a little bit more. And the post-chorus gave us the opportunity to paint a bit of a bigger picture of what's actually happening and why I'm saying catch me where I go. You just have a kind of groove, and then the middle eight, which we actually got in London. That was the last thing to come in the record, and that kind of helped put a really nice little bow on it. This song has allowed me to have the dance break of my dreams that I've always wanted. And I think that also came, you know, from touring for so long and kind of honing in my craft in so many different ways and becoming the performer that I've always wanted to be. And I guess because I'm always thinking quite visually in terms of what the video is going to be like, I knew that I wanted to try and carry this video on my own and do a lot of the dancing on my own, which again is something that I probably would have never done at any previous point in my career. I'm gonna rip all this off, no magic included. Because in my head, I'd always known that it was going to be a performance video, I thought, why don't I start getting some of the moves into my body and starting to think what the new choreography is going to be like for this album. Downstairs in my house, I emptied out the gym and I decided to start rehearsing a little bit. I had also just dyed my hair red, so I didn't really want to leave the house. So I was spending a lot of time in the basement dancing. It's a really small room downstairs, but it has mirrors. And so that's kind of a little bit where the inspiration came for the visual of the actual video. Actually, I have a video that I found on my phone recently from the very early rehearsal days from Houdini downstairs in my basement. I think we should just play it. Maybe it's a better picture. Like everything you say is something so sweet. And you disappear? Yeah. Nothing that you preach.
Then they'll be behind here, like, you won't see them.
Something that'll make me believe.
Then they're here, you know what I mean?
And this is us playing with the mirrors and the idea that when the lights turn off, then the dancers are gonna appear, again doing a magic trick, kind of like in Houdini, and then they come and they go. But the one thing that stays constant throughout the video is me. And luckily, I worked with such an incredible team. And Manu Kosu, the director, he was just so up for it and had brilliant ideas. And he was the one who thought we should go to the English National Ballet to shoot it and do it in a dance setting. And it gave it that very kind of black swan scene in a way, but with a modern touch, I guess. So this person with me is Charm LaDonna. She's my choreographer. And Sharon, her assistant. Just having these two women with me makes me feel so confident. Because we had to shoot Houdini so quickly, time was kind of the essence. And so I had to put a lot of trust in them because I know that they're so brutally honest. They would be like, no, another take, until it's perfect. I love this one, and I also love the overhead shot. It's like the crowd surfing moment, laying on top. And also the touch with everybody with red hair. So we're all matching, we're all one. We're the same, but different. Except my hands did go all red, and not from my own hair. It was just by like touching everyone else and being carried through, and everybody's, like the hair dye was like paint. We just had to deal with a lot of red paint everywhere.
I come and I go. Tell me all the ways you need me. I'm not here for long. Catch me or I go. Houdini, I come and I go. Prove you got the right to please me. Everybody knows. Catch me or I go. Houdini.
Seeing the journey from what we practiced in the basement and then seeing it come to life with all the dancers and in the room with the mirrors and how it looks once it's filmed. The process of it all coming to life has just been really special. The video on the left, no one's seen this video. This is while we were rehearsing for the Grammys. And so this is on the last day before we were about to go into the arena and prep for the show. And then on the right is a video from tour. This was while I was doing some of my summer shows. I can just see such a big difference from both videos. Obviously on the left, we're just performing to a camera, and on the right, I'm performing to a crowd. You can tell the difference because the energy that I get from the audience really comes through in the performance. So I feel like I do my best dancing and my best performing really when I'm on stage, when I can connect with other people. It's the song that just keeps me going. Okay, so that was the movement. Let's get into the making. This is one of my favorite studios in Los Angeles. It's in Malibu. It's called Woodshed. I love to be in a place where there's a lot of light, a lot of windows. I like to see the day turn to night. And this is me in songwriting action. I remember when I said Houdini in the room, Tobias was like, oh, that's a really cool title. Every session always starts with a conversation. So obviously it starts with a little gossip and you've got to tell them what's been going on in your life. And we're having basically a therapy session. We came to the conclusion of Houdini and the disappearing act. It takes a small army to put it together. And I couldn't have done it without some absolute wizards in music. Here's the team that made it all possible. Next to me, we have Tobias, the big cackle laugh in Houdini. That's Tobias. I mean, it's an exaggerated version of his laugh, but it's kind of his laugh, and it's perfect. Here in front of me is Danny. Danny I got introduced to through a mutual friend of ours. He's got like rave and electronic sensibilities, but he's also classically trained. And here is sweet Caroline, who I've been writing with since my first album. I just love writing with her. I feel so at ease. It kind of looks like we're all talking at the same time. That's really how we do a lot of our writing, you know. Someone would throw in an idea, then someone else would throw in an idea, and then we'd go, oh, yeah, that's a good one. And then we'd ride on the idea of the other person, and you'd keep building and building on that. But there's one person that we're missing from this picture, and that is Kevin. This is us in the original studio in London. I was still in the middle of my Future Nostalgia tour. I've always just been such a fan of him as an artist, of Tame Impala. It was just always on my dream board to one day work with him. On the first day, which is this day, we wrote Illusion. Me, Kevin, Danny, Caroline, and Tobias. All of us creatively had such a wonderful synergy. It was like this real meeting of minds. Everyone's so different. The whole process was really special. And here's the last photos. Oh, and this is all of us together. I love what I do. I really do. And I feel so lucky to get to do this as my job. And I'm constantly like learning and evolving and growing and changing and finding out more about myself and how I like to do things. What I set out to do with this album as a whole was make a record that I felt like was really reflective of who I am as an artist. I wasn't chasing a hit or something. It was just about how much I can dance and how much I can express myself creatively and how much I can be as honest as possible. And at the same time, how can I get closer to the music? It just made me fall in love with my job all over again. So we did the music, we did the movement, we did the making, and there's only one more thing left to do. That's the story of my song.
Catch me or I go Houdini.